Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good afternoon for the East Coast folks, and good late morning to our West Coast friends. My name is Caitlin Knaus, the Client Development Director here at NetElixir, and we'd like to welcome you to our 2016 Holiday Forecast webinar. We really appreciate you all joining. I'll be doing a very quick introduction for NetElixir, and then I'll hand it over to our CEO, UDAYAN BOSE, to jump right into the meat of the holiday forecast. So NetElixir is a search marketing agency. We were founded over 12 years ago and are now a team of over 120, 130 fanatically analytical search marketers. You'll see here on the right are just a few of our clients and really our partners that we are working with. We are a preferred partner of both Google and Bing, and actually a Google Premier partner. We also are a certified partner of UPS. NetElixir solutions can be put into 3 different buckets you'll see here in this chart. We have our full service solutions, which include paid search and shopping management, SEO or organic optimization, and paid social management. We also have our own proprietary technologies. We call this our Elixir marketplace, and our team has worked on developing, improving, and creating these tools, including Elixir SEO tools as well as Elixir tools for paid management, including Elixir Guide and Elixir Plugin. We also offer consulting services around analytics, strategy, as well as any on-demand technical support needed. We have all of these solutions to really help businesses and our customers humanize every click. We're working to understand all of that data and connect it to the customer journey. So I'm going to hand it over in just a second to UDAYAN, again, who's our founder and CEO of NetElixir. He also previously founded Party Bingo and is a guest lecturer at Cornell University, as well as the City University of New York. Now, before I hand it over to UDAYAN, we wanted to do a quick poll of the audience. So you should see in your go-to meeting box here, we'll have poll question number 1. And the question is, what does the number 94 mean to you? You'll see several options here in your window. The first one is 94 is the percent of retailers who still don't have a holiday plan. Number 2 is 94 is the percent of year-over-year e-commerce growth this year. Or is it the number of days until Christmas? Is it the year-over-year increase in mobile search queries? Or is it the percent of all retailers on Amazon Marketplace? So I'll give you, we'll give it a few more seconds here to get some responses. While we're waiting, I also wanted to draw your attention to the download that should also be in your go-to meeting box. And this is our holiday workbook. Please take a second to download this, as UDAYAN will be referencing it during our presentation. There's a couple of pages in there that we'll be reviewing, as well as the holiday calendar. And lastly, please feel free to ask any questions in our chat box. We will be looking at that throughout the webinar, and if we're not able to get to every question during this 30-minute presentation, we will address the questions afterwards. So, taking a look at the poll here, we had a couple of people say it was the percent of retailers on Amazon Marketplace. A few others say it was the year-over-year increase in mobile search queries, as well as the percent of retailers who still don't have a holiday plan. In fact, though, 81% of you did get the question right, and it is the number of days until Christmas. So count on to the holidays. And that is what UDAYAN is going to jump into right now.
Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, for some reason, this keeps bumping us off this page, but let me start. Hi, everyone. We'll start with our, this actually happens to be our 8th holiday forecast webinar. We first started it back in 2008, August. That's what our first webinar happened then. So this is actually the 9th year of our doing the forecast webinar. Very interestingly, we seem to have been, if I were to compare the last about 5 years numbers, our webinar forecast, for some very interesting reason, even though we base it on a base of our customers, mid-size and the large retailers who have a large holiday skew, they seem to have been within about 10% range of the actual numbers which have been published by the NRF. So in terms of accuracy, we seem to have been more or less hit the mark. Last year, we though missed the mark. We had forecasted for about 13%. The final number was 14% year-on-year growth. But the previous 2 years, we sort of made the mark, and then I think 2013, we missed the mark because we forecasted 12% and the actual was about 10%. But anyway, all these forecasts are the e-commerce forecast as such. So I'll just get into the next slide, which is the basis of our forecast. And essentially, I mean, as I mentioned, that we have been conducting an ongoing analysis of e-commerce and search marketing metrics for our customers. These are mostly mid-sized or large e-commerce companies who have a significant holiday skew. So when I say holiday skew, at least 25 to 30% of their annual sales happens during holidays. In certain cases, believe it or not, the number goes to as high as about 72 to 75% of the annual holiday sales as well. In fact, we have a couple of our e-commerce friends joining in whose business has about a 70% plus skew during the holiday season, believe it or not. So the overall spend and in management was quite substantial, but we wanted to reference the overall e-commerce holiday revenue, and this is more of your 2015 numbers. So 2015, this bunch or this data set of retailers accounted for about $350 million of e-commerce sales overall. So it's a pretty substantial, what we call the statistically relevant data set. We have been tracking this data, as I mentioned, since August 2008. And last but not the least, we have also considered about 450 million search queries from these verticals to really sort of get to our analysis and predictions as well. Now, understandably, any holiday prediction always comes with a little bit of a controversy, and ours probably this year is going to sort of stir up a lot of controversy. I know we have our friends from the media and publications on this call as well. But we will try to explain first as to why we get to a particular number, then present, and then a couple of trends which we believe will be still supportive of a pretty steady holiday growth, though we'll sort of get to that part later. So moving on, we tried to use this as a basis, which is essentially the percentage growth on a year-on-year basis for every quarter this year. So as you can see, Q1 started off very strong. I mean, we had a very strong start, and the red bar that you see, that is this Q1, which is 2016 Q1 versus 2015 Q1, while the blue bar actually is 2015 Q1 versus 2014 Q1. As you can see, I mean, this year started off very, very strong. It has been a very solid start to the year. Though in Q2 the numbers dipped a little bit, but it was still pretty strong. What became very concerning was the sudden drop in Q3, which we have struggled, and this data is fairly representative across a wide swath of retail customers that we work with. So that is where we suddenly sort of got flagged that there is something going on, maybe some undercurrent that we should probably all be aware of. So that's where I think the challenge was. Q4, incidentally, the blue bar is 2015 versus 2014. So it was still a pretty strong sort of a growth rate quarter on quarter that year. Moving on, the back to school online sales, and I think I sort of mentioned it in earlier webinars as well, on the previous year's webinar as well. We have somehow been able to extend and find a pretty strong correlation between the back to school sales and the holiday sales. Now, back to school sales, we might, if I can probably even say that's a great predictor of how strong the holidays will be. And as you can see, we have for the last about 4 years now. So the first bar is 2014 versus 2013. The second bar is 2015 versus 2014, a very, very strong number. Unfortunately, the back to school sales this year has been flat, almost 5% growth over last year. So based on both of these sort of numbers, the third number is it's not as much, I would say, data sort of driven. It's based on some previous year's numbers, research done by some external companies, including ComScore, and extrapolating and extending that. And just based on our observation of what is the percentage of our customers who are also using marketplaces or migrating from directly selling from the website to the marketplaces, I think we feel fairly confident that Amazon will have at least 28% market share during this holiday season, at least. So we think this range will be anywhere between 28 to 30%, but on a conservative side, at least 28% of every dollar, 28 cents on every dollar which is being invested during the holiday sales will really go to Amazon. And that's a pretty troubling number, because if you really look at it, it was in 2014 about 20 to 23%, grew in 2015 to about 26%, and this keeps on sort of moving up constantly. So what does it mean? What does all this mean essentially in terms of our holiday forecast and holiday projections? I wish we could have had a more optimistic forecast, but based on the trends that we are seeing, we are projecting a 11% year-on-year e-commerce growth during the holiday season. This number is significantly more conservative than the number which was recently published by eMarketer, which came out with a 17% year-on-year growth. We believe our customer data set is a fairly good representation, but still it is a subset. It is not the entire universe. But having said that, based on the undercurrents that we have really observed in the market, we feel very strong that this may not really be the most optimistic or the strongest holiday season that we may have seen in terms of e-commerce growth over the last about 3 years. 2013 was a bit of a slow e-commerce year. There was only about a 10% growth, as I mentioned, but 14, 15 have been very strong. 2016, unfortunately, we are sort of going ahead and sticking to our 11% year-on-year e-commerce growth as such. It's a slower growth, as I mentioned. I mean, 2013 was 10%, but then sort of it moved up, and so 2016. And these are incidentally sort of ComScore numbers, so the actual numbers which were reported, I think, between the 6th of Jan to 10th of Jan by ComScore and validated by the NRF. So we would stick to that. Moving on, there are 3 factors that we believe will be responsible for driving a more conservative forecast or an estimate. The first one is we believe there has been a very clear shift in the overall consumer behavior because of the advancement of the holiday purchases. When I say advancement of the holiday purchases, the Christmas in July trend which Amazon first started last year, this year really went to the next level. In fact, as many of you may have read, Amazon's sales on that day, or that overall that day, 12th of July, actually exceeded, per some reports, even the Black Friday sales overall. What it essentially did, it essentially advanced a lot of the purchases which were being made by consumers online. Is it a good thing to happen? We don't know, but we just feel that such an unnatural spike which happened in July, somehow we don't think that if you really look at it on an annualized basis, the consumers their overall spending does not really go up by as much. So from that perspective, maybe the consumer would spend 12%, 15%, let us say 20% more year on year. But such an unnatural spike, which was in 3-digit percentages, is very difficult to support. It somehow has to really take that dollar off the wallet from somewhere else, and we believe that holidays would get affected. We have already seen, and we have adequate proof that the back-to-school sales, the reason you are seeing a 5% growth over last year, happened because of this Christmas in July thing, which really happened. And also, as we know, that other large retailers like Target and Walmart also followed the suit. So that was, I think, one of the big challenges. The second is we are seeing a big shift in website sales to marketplaces. Now, we have done some analysis, and we have found out that if a merchant X is selling from their website, once they transition to Amazon and become really one of the maybe about 5 to 10 sellers in Amazon Marketplace, the incremental volume add for that merchant, again, assuming that they had a basic threshold level of sales already happening from the website, is not as much. And as a result of which, this shift may be great for Amazon because understandably, they now have an access to a lot more merchants who are selling from their marketplace. And obviously, they have access as a result to a lot of data as well about the different companies and the product lines that they sell. But for the merchant, we are not very sure whether that sort of has led to a significant increment in their overall amount that they sell online as such. The third one was election year uncertainties have been a big challenge. Very interestingly, and this essentially marks our third election year as such. So we started in election year 2008. 2012 was, in our opinion, more of a predictable outcome election year, and this year is again an election year. So it's fascinating. 2008 numbers were not strong, but again, there is always a counter argument that 2008 was a big recession year as well. 2012 is a little more predictable, not as much because it was probably more of a predictable outcome from the elections. This year, the uncertainties, the outcome uncertainty is a lot more, and as a result of which we feel that the overall consumer confidence in spending during holidays may not be as much. So these are the three reasons which, one, mostly a macro reason, which we are seeing it very constantly, that they are really impacting the consumer behaviors and the buying trends. Having said that, we still are seeing a lot of brick and mortar customers sort of moving online. I should probably say moving mobile rather than moving online. So I think that trend will sort of continue, but still these three big trends will go ahead and impact overall e-commerce sales this holiday season. Again, as Caitlin would have mentioned, I'm sort of happy to take questions at the end of it. I know it's a projection or a forecast which doesn't really match with some of the other forecasts which have been out there, as I mentioned, by eMarketer, ComScore, and so on. So I am happy to really sort of field and answer the questions and provide information, whatever is possible for us to really share on this call. Two forces that will still support, and which I think is the big spark of hope, which is why we still feel it will be a double-digit year-on-year growth this year. The first one is obviously the mobile. The mobile shopping will continue to surge. I mean, mobile shopping, we estimate that at least 30% of all the online purchases will happen from mobile devices. Now, that's a big shift because I'm talking about 30% not searches from mobile devices, but actual last-click purchases happening from mobile phones. Right? Tablets are not included as a part of this forecast. So tablets would be clubbed with desktop. So I'm saying from mobile phones, 1 in 3 purchases will happen from mobile phones. When I compare that to last year, that number was close to about 18%. The year previous was single-digit 8%. So that's a massive shift that we are seeing. Though the overall purchase frequency will increase, there is a bit of a caveat that all of you should know. And that caveat is the average order value of the purchases made using mobile phones is roughly about 22% lower compared to that made through desktops, right? So if $100 is the AOV, let us say, hypothetically, is the average order value of desktop purchases, the mobile purchase would have an AOV of about $78. So that's, I think, again, something to sort of just keep in mind. Having said that, mobile also increases the frequency of purchases as well. So it's just a double-edged thing, but just wanted to present that as well. The last part is there is very clear evidence to better integrated fulfillment. I mean, we have seen significant strides, and I mean, as Caitlin mentioned initially, we are privileged to be a partner of UPS, and we have first-hand information that we have in terms of the UPS is sort of just ratcheting up and just sort of putting out their entire holiday preparedness to a different level. You may have, some of you may have read that they are hiring about 95,000 temp workers for just the holiday season. But beyond that, there are significant progress that has been made by logistics companies like UPS to really sort of beef up their entire holiday delivery process, because the customer expectation is completely different. They want everything now. So that's a very difficult expectation to meet, and unless and until you have the logistical capability of a large company, it's going to be almost impossible to fulfill those expectations adequately. We also feel that driven by mobile searches, and specifically near me searches as such, we did a webinar a few months back. I believe it was maybe in May or June we did a webinar in terms of Google products. So I think one of the pieces of information is the mobile near me searches have jumped dramatically. I mean, they have jumped upwards of 100%, and we somehow feel that the mobile phenomena combined with the buy online and pick up in store is going to see a big sort of a boost this holiday season as well. So these two are the positive criteria that we see is why we are confident that there will be a very clear double-digit e-commerce year-on-year sales growth, which will sort of balance it out a little bit. But at the end of it, I think one thing which we do not really have any doubt for is the big winner will be Amazon. I wanted to share some statistic with you. We have done some back of the envelope calculation, which we wanted to sort of share with you as such. Let's do some math, right? So this is again, the information has been taken from ComScore. And as you can see in 2015, per ComScore, the total mobile plus online overall sales during holidays in 2015 in the United States was roughly about $69 billion. And that was a 13% growth over the previous year, which is about $61 billion. Let us do a little bit of math around this $69 billion. And I would request you again, if you have any questions, clarifications, please feel free to ask, because this is very important for you to understand this math. So we are looking at an 11% year-on-year growth this year, right? So 69 billion times 11% growth equates to about $77 billion. So we are looking at an absolute growth of $8 billion additional spending will be done on e-commerce, essentially, during this holiday season. So the consumers will spend $8 billion more or extra during the overall holiday season as such. Let us see as to who gets how much of this $8 billion. So Amazon's share, we have predicted, will grow from at least 28%. From 26% in last year, it will grow to at least 28%, right? So let us do some math. So 2016 Amazon holiday sales would be 28% of this $77 billion, which accounts for about $21.5 billion. 2015, the Amazon holiday sales was 26% of the $69 billion, which is about $18 billion. So Amazon gets an incremental revenue or holiday sales of $3.5 billion plus. The reason I'm saying plus is because 28% is on the lower side, in our opinion. The rest of online retailers, all the retailers that you can think of except for Amazon in the United States, every retailer, every marketplace, everyone included would equate to $4.5 billion. So that $4.5 billion additional consumer spending is what everyone would be fighting on the e-commerce world. It will, in our opinion, be one of the most brutal holiday seasons ever. So that's, I think, one of the things which really sort of was quite interesting. When you do the math, the numbers really sort of come out very clearly. And in fact, just for the poll that we just did, we saw that 19 or 20% of the folks who are attending today still don't have a holiday marketing plan. That is something which we would very clearly request you or advise you to go ahead and to sort of look into, because this is going to be a difficult holiday season and you need to be prepared for that. Let me move on to another quick poll. So this question is, what percentage of your holiday sales, this is an actual number, what percentage of your holiday sales is really driven by search engines? Is it less than 10%? Is it 10 to 25% of your total online holiday sales? Is it 25 to 50%? Upwards of 50%? What does that number look like? And we are talking about the overall e-commerce or online sales as such. We see people are still sort of voting. We'll just sort of give it a few more seconds and sort of get to this. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. So I guess so. We'll sort of just move on to that and just quickly hide the poll results. Sorry, I'm a little challenged in conducting the polls, but so we wanted to share with everyone 3 retail search marketing strategies, which literally everyone should really implement in our opinion, to really be a little more prepared for the very brutally competitive holiday season. And as Caitlin mentioned, we would request you to download a copy, a complimentary copy of our holiday readiness workbook. We had actually attached it in this the webinar settings. You can sort of feel free to download it there. You can also sort of fill up a form. We'll just give you the link, which is netelixir.com/holiday2016. You can sort of download it using that form as well. The first one is bring a smile to the mobile shopper. Understandably, mobile is going to be big. It's going to be huge. And the primary question that you need to sort of answer is, do you really have a separate, unique mobile search marketing search marketing plan in place? So what our advice would be, isolate long tail and end of the funnel search queries, understand the near me search queries as well, lower your default bids to the lowest value possible, and then deploy aggressive mobile modifiers and mobile specific ads. Use ad customizers to push the ongoing promos. This really allows time for the same day pickup and so on. And you would see this box of notes, and as you really go through the workbook after this webinar, you will see that all of our pages come with your notes. So we would very strongly encourage you to really sort of write your own customized thoughts, ideas, in that box, because though these are more of a high-level idea, templatized ideas that have proven to be very successful for our customers, I think it will be very helpful for you to customize them for your requirement, for your business. Moving on to the next one, how to make the PLA pay. Right? Product listing ads, we believe, will account for as much as 50% in many cases of all the paid search sales which happen. Product listing ads probably will drive at least 50%. For categories like jewelry, cosmetics, etc., it will probably be upwards of 70% as well. In certain cases, women's apparel as well. So, do you have a PLA plan in place? We have provided about 4 different specific ideas how to really make PLAs work better. One of the models that has been very successful for us is the pyramid model that you see. Pyramid model essentially tries to replicate your physical storefront in the online world, in the PLA world. So focus on the top performing SKUs at the top of the pyramid and really bid up as much as possible. I mean, the highest bid should be allocated there. Then focus on the best selling products, the high value segments as we sort of call them. Then move on to the other categories and then the rest. So by categorizing the products and the SKUs and really sort of changing the bids or assigning the bids accordingly, we feel that you can really make the PLAs work. And it's very safe for me to call this a product listing ad holiday season this year. Moving on to the third one, this is a holiday search marketing calendar. It was we started releasing it in the year of 2012. So it has been, this is the fourth or fifth holiday calendar that we are releasing this year. So just to help you understand the holiday calendar, we have now worked with more than 350 e-commerce companies, holiday merchants, and so on. So effectively, we still remain stuck as to how badly retailers still plan their promotions. How less do they refer to the past year data, analyze that, and really use that to plan their sales and marketing promotions. We also struggle to see as to many cases probably a lack of creativity in terms of how they are so everyone tends to really sort of advertise aggressively on everything during Black Friday, and suddenly the other days there is absolutely no advertising. So if you really look at this calendar, what it aspires to do is we have tried to track around the Thanksgiving time, which is 24th is Thanksgiving, 24th of November. So you start from 20th and gone on till about Christmas Day. If you really take that period, you would see that there are circles which have been marked in yellow. There are circles which are marked in orange, and then there is green. If you look at the table on the right, you would see the year-on-year CPC inflation. CPC inflation is, we're talking about paid search programs, or PPC, or Google AdWords and Bing programs. And we feel that the CPC inflation is a good indicator of how competitive that particular day would be. As you can see on the desktop, all the moderate days, which are like the yellow box days, we feel that the desktop CPC's cost per clicks will go up by about 5% over 2015, while the mobile CPCs will go up by about 12%. And then as you sort of move down, you would see that on very high days, it is 20% plus CPC inflation for desktops and over 40% CPC inflation for mobile clicks. Now, the interesting, there are certain local trends, local and mobile growth will extend till 20 seconds. So there are a lot of tips out there as well. So what our recommendation is, read through this particular sheet and please try to sort of implement it as much as possible. We have substantial proof that just by following this calendar and implementing the recommendations which are mentioned on the right side, you can get significant benefits, significant incremental benefits on a day-by-day basis. And if you have any questions, you can always sort of feel free to reach out to us. That's, I think, what our basically suggestion would be. So that's what I had. I know we have already exceeded our time limit, but we will sort of wanted to sort of emphasize all these key points. And again, any questions on the holiday workbook, please feel free to ask. I'll hand it back to Caitlin now. Thank you.
Great. So as we mentioned, many times, here's the link in the URL to download the workbook, a couple of the pages we already went through. And wanted to wrap up with a very special invitation. We know we shared the forecast and the importance around search and the ways you can make a difference. But we're also offering one-on-one consultations for this upcoming holiday season. We'll be holding these web clinics starting October 4th through October 6th. And it'll be a full health check of your PPC, PLA, and SEO campaigns. You'll have 30 minutes with an AdWords certified expert, and you'll also receive a 10-point prescription for improving your chances of holiday search marketing success. We do have a limited number of spots available, but to sign up, you can go to www.netelixir.com/holiday2016, and you'll be able to schedule on our calendar. So we really hope to be able to share some of these strategies and successes for what may be a pretty tough holiday season coming up. So thank you again for joining us. We did run a little over, so any questions we will get to and respond individually. And again, please feel free to reach out to us. We appreciate your time. And again, the URL to sign up is that one you'll see at the bottom there, NetElixir.com/holiday2016. Thanks again, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.